Okay, now this is video 2, and what I'm going to ask Tony to do is to first please bring in Sighai to the time that to the point where he clears that LED again about half a volt. But what I want to point out is this channel 4, which again it's a J1 pins and 2, so that we don't rely on that LED. And by the way, this is with both span and bias potentiometers at 100%. So from right there, Tony has cleared the LED. That's at about 0.48 volts. And Tony, do you want to dial it in real quick with this spot right here, just so that it's right where we come in? Is that pretty much? Could you just move to one side and verify? Yep, and that goes. So go ahead and bring it slowly until you. There you go. Thank you, Tony. So now here, this shows the firing signal going to your pulse, from the pulse module to your SCR, which again at this point will be disconnected. And now this is both at 100%. Go ahead, Tony, and adjust your bias. So Tony's going to bring that until that minimum. One thing that we're doing here is notice we still have an output because we're over the nominal half volt, and we're looking at the duty cycle of that TP8, and that is 98.6. I'm going to clear that, stop that, 98.6. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and run it again. And all right, Tony. So now at this point, what bring it over here. At this point, what Tony's going to do, he's going to increase the value of the ticket box, by hundreds of an ohm, and he's going to increase the duty cycle of that TP8. You can see that output gets thinner and thinner. Now at this point, what Tony is at 40 or 48 pin, Tony. And here he was able to, let me stop. He was able, the average, it shows still the same, but still shows 98.9. So, and we know how it's going to 98.9. The point here is that you're trying to get this to 99% duty cycle, and you still have an output. All right. So at this point, that's the value that's being selected. Again, it might be that you're gonna push it in. And go ahead, Tony. Now, what we want to do is, one of the things that Tony points out is that now you go to 0, go back to 0 on Sighai, and verify that the value that has been selected on the decade box, now that it's at 0, we don't have an output. This is now, you notice, shows on the average 99%, and you're not going out of block. So in other words, this is still a square signal. That will tell you that everything's good. Otherwise, you're going to bring in an imbalance to the board. So now that's that, you can go ahead, Tony, go ahead and bring it back to, he's going to bring it now all the way first to clear. You have that output, so we're back again. Now he's going to go all the way up to 5 volts on his potentiometer. And the last thing that he's going to do, we started adjusting the bias. The span is still at 100%. He is going to adjust the span so that at 5 volts he gets the minimum duty cycle in this case, or the maximum width of the output. So now he's at 5.00, and he's going to adjust the span, and he's going to point out. Yeah, there you go. So it's changing. So he's just bringing it to the point where this has the lowest duty cycle, or again, this is the white. All right. This is anything else that I'm missing, Tony?
No, that's it.
All right. So this is how you would need to select your R12, making sure that gives you the maximum duty cycle, and yet at 0 you still don't have the board going out of lock, and yet at 5 volts you have the maximum possible output. This is the end of the video.